Atlanta. Woo! We got one. We got lucky last night. It's Dukes and Bell on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. We start off every day and every hour by saying, hey, man. Glad to have you here on a Tuesday. Mike Bell and I, periodically throughout the course of any evening, will text back and forth to each other. Sometimes it's dumb stuff. Sometimes it's stuff I can't repeat on the radio. And then sometimes it's like last night where Mike says, are you watching this? This is unbelievable. And it was the moment in which Ronald Acuña was accosted by a couple of fans in Denver. And, you know, Mike, when I watch this, I said this to you, I'm watching this on mute. I didn't have the game volume on. We're winning the game. I'm watching. But then I see these guys approach Acuña, and I'm almost like, okay, this is probably something, you know, like a stunt or something they put together. Maybe these guys, this is part of the Rockies presentation. Then I see another dude come out there. Right. And then I see other guys running, and I'm like, oh, let me turn the volume up because this thing was crazy.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are these guys doing? Are they playing Twister? What the hell is security doing? Everybody's kind of, you know, the first things first is get the man immediately away from Ronald Acuña, you know, which they didn't do. Like, I think, and I heard Bo Johnson, who, you know, just mentioned earlier, he works over at Truist Park. There's some dudes. We got some dudes. I think there's everybody that can handle themselves at Truist Park, and I think the same goes for State Farm. And obviously over at Mercedes-Benz. But, I mean, these guys, I don't know. It's like the organization. I don't know who you blame, but it's like you got to have people who know what they're doing in a situation like that. I mean, everyone goes back to the Monica Seles situation years ago where a wackadoodle gets on the court and stabs her in the back while she's sitting there taking a break. So you freak out. And, again, what if, I mean, how crazy it sounds like, well, don't be an alarmist. No, this is something, Carl, I think you'd be an alarmist over. What if Ronald turned his knee or something, you know, when he fell over? With these idiots, you know, or the big fat galoot security guy fell on Ronald.
Well, I say we're done. He's done, but it certainly puts a damper in our season, and over some nonsense.
Right,
Mike. No, there's nothing to be alarmed about. There were 3 black people killed in Jacksonville this last weekend who were minding their own business in a dollar store.
Right.
There's nothing to be alarmed about. This is where we're at in society. If you don't think, okay, that you can walk out of your building and all of a sudden something happens that you're not aware of or you're not prepared for. Mike, we've already had 2 shootings. We are in Midtown. Right. We had 2 shootings in the last 6 months that we've had to evacuate or hunker down. It's not being an alarmist. It's being real. And in this day and age, to have professional athletes on the field, Mike, the one thing that these security teams have to do, it doesn't matter what stadium you're at, you got to protect the guys. And I think, Mike, the thing that should have happened last night, and this is what I was disappointed in, I was hoping the Braves wore this dude's ass out. I was hoping the Braves would have made it to the point in which they were on Ronald and just started wearing these guys out because they have every right to do it.
Right.
The bullpen, guys come, everybody. And just move security out of the way. We've got this. I guarantee you these guys would never think about running on a field again because when you come onto the field, you now belong to me. And that didn't happen last night. I'm glad nobody got injured. But at the end of the day, I kind of was sitting there going, oh, I want to see some guys swinging on these guys and handling this from a team perspective.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if this kid was high. I don't know what their ages are, but are they high? Are they drunk? Are they high and drunk? I don't know what they're on. But the one dude who kept leaping up and down, she looked like he was on something that wasn't normally sold over a counter somewhere. But, I mean, Peter Moylan last night, if you listen to the broadcast, Moylan, he was seething about this, the danger of this situation. I'm with you, brother. I mean, and what I want to see now is, all right, it's happened. We obviously there's a lack security. They're not properly trained, and they're not in shape to do their job. What happens next in Denver? Are these guys going to jail? I don't want to hear about a slap on the wrist. I don't want to hear about a suspended sentence. I want to see these guys do 6 months in freaking jail. Because we're in a copycat society, and everybody, you know, as you guys know on social media, common sense is taking a permanent vacation in this country. So a message needs to be sent. Seriously.
I'm with you. We'll see how it's handled. Big Bo, you work at the stadium. It's my understanding, if I run on the field at Truist Park, that's a federal offense, right? It's a felony, right?
Subject to arrest.
They can get you for trespassing, yeah.
Trespassing. Okay, now.
After you get taken to the freaking ground.
Okay, but what about assault? I'm asking. If I grab a player, isn't that assault?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because that's
now
where
Ronald would have to press charges, which again, if that's
he may or may not. Right.
Right.
I just think, once you grab a player, I think that is where the thing absolutely changes. We want to hear from you guys. 404-726-0929. It's Dukes and Bell, Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. The game was secondary last night. We won. Well, the Rockies aren't any good. Okay, we should win this series and keep moving to the Dodgers. But that incident just scared the crap out, I think, of a lot of Braves fans, and certainly Mike and I, because whether it was Ronald Acuña, who is on pace for a special year, guys. He got his 29th homer in the 5th, stole his 60th base in the 7th inning. He increased his MLB stolen base total to 61 in the 8th inning. He's on pace for an elite special year. So if he was somehow injured, that would have just ruined so many things on so many levels. But, Mike, if this was Olsen or if this was Ozzie, it doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter who
Any of your
was.
starting pitchers, I mean, who knows? I mean, just like I said, it's just.
And can we say this? You just talked about the guy. Shouldn't you have the obligation to be in a certain kind of shape to run out there as security?
No. This is Paulie Pie Eater that was sitting there when he finally waddled out there. I mean, it's just you do have guys out there, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, Bar, most of the guys at Truist, either off-duty law enforcement or former law enforcement.
Or military. About 95% of them, a texter just told me. I've been conversating with a guy on the text line who was security for 14 years. Right. All the guys that I know, my guys that patrol my club, they're all APD or former military.
I mean, hell, Walter Banks is 100 years old. He could have gotten out there faster.
I agree.
Than those guys.
Well, he's in better shape than the guys that ran out there. Either way, Braves back in action tonight. We're going to talk about that later with Grant McCauley. But this story certainly had sent shockwaves through baseball last night, and rightfully so. Again, Braves best team in the league, best player, accosted by a couple of fans, and we got lucky. Let's cross our fingers. Mike's so right, man. When he fell to the ground, I was like, did he just get hurt?
Yeah, I mean, luckily it was in slow motion, and it's just like I said. There's got to be repercussions. Whoever this person is, consequences. No, because you see copycat crap every day. So some other junk. What's the commonality in this? It's either somebody's high as a kite or he's drank a 6 or whatever. You got a nitwit. So yeah, drop the hammer on this guy. And I want to see it personally. And this is why, when you have like the bleeding hearts. Oh, the security was so abusive. No, you got to get the guy on the ground before he does damage to an athlete. No one comes into your office, right, and starts messing with you while you're on your computer. It's the same thing. This is their workplace.
It is.
Doesn't happen.
I love what Ronald said, though, talking through the interpreter. I was a little scared at first. And then he says, we're all okay. I hope they're okay. Man, again, they got the right guy. Because, Mike, if that was another dude, it might have been on. As soon as that guy grabbed him, he might have been on. And,
Wasn't it a Royals game a couple of years back where somebody took a swing at the first base coach or something?
Yes.
And then the Royals players beat the ever-living snot out of these two punks.
Wore him out.
Yeah,
I absolutely. You're right about that. Right. So left fielder Kevin Pillar was nearby when the situation unfolded, and this was the thing. This is why when we talk about these incidents, right, when things happen around you, everybody wants to say. I just had this conversation with my wife. You want to think that you'd react a certain way, right?
Right.
Kevin Pillar's watching this. Like, what's going on? He's not running until he realizes, oh, wait a minute. Right. I think it hits you, Mike, and everybody's just kind of going, what's happening? And then you see kind of the infield turn around, like, what's going on? Nobody immediately starts running because you're trying to process it.
Right. And so ultimately these guys wanted a selfie. They wanted to get a picture with the guy. It's the middle of the freaking game.
Clowns.
But that's the thing. Like, I do not want to sound like my dad, but it just seems like it's unavoidable in situations like this. There's no common sense.
Yeah.
There's just none. So, yeah, I do hope that regardless of their intentions, that these guys get hit. I'd love to see. I mean, I want to see something, a big fine. Put them in county for a weekend. Let these two nitwits go up there with some real dudes that are in jail for some real stuff and deal with that for like 3 or 4 days, right?
What y'all in for?
Yeah. I got high and I tried to hug Ronald Acuña.
Come
Wasn't
over
that
here.
Funny?
Come over here. Your name's Susie now. It's Dukes and Bell at Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. Didn't like it. Wish the team would have gotten there quicker, but I'm not putting any blame on them. I'm just saying, and allowed the team to handle, almost like security, just step out of the way and let the team handle it. But we're glad Ronald Acuña is safe.